So now the main important chapter in this concept in polity system, polity subject, that is salient features of Indian Constitution or salient features of Constitution of India. You know, we will get maximum questions from this chapter. This chapter has lengthy scope, so we have to discuss each and every point. So what is the salient features of Constitution of India? But first of all, I want to give you introduction. Just we have to discuss about, let us discuss about introduction. You know, Indian Constitution was introduced on 1950 January 26. It was introduced or it was implemented and it came into existence on 26 January 1950. Okay, you know how many days were taken to write our Constitution? How many days? 2 years, 11 months, 2 years, 11 months, 18 days time. This is the duration for making the Constitution. 2 years, 11 months, 18 days. How much expenditure? 64 lakhs. 64 lakhs of expenditure. So 2 years, 11 months, 18 days, 64 lakhs of the expenditure, right? So here who wrote, who designed, who prepared our Constitution? So Constitution Drafting Committee. Constitution Drafting Committee. Constitution Drafting Committee. So prepared, Constitution Drafting Committee wrote our Constitution. Who was the chairman of Constitution Drafting Committee? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of Drafting Committee. Under the leadership of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, there were 7 members in Drafting Committee. Including Ambedkar, there were 7 members in Drafting Committee. So this Drafting Committee composed or designed or wrote our Constitution. So, you know, Indian Constitution is the lengthest constitution in the world. Indian Constitution was the lengthest constitution in the world. That's why, what was the symbol? What was the symbol of our Constitution? That is elephant. Elephant was adopted as the symbol of Indian Constitution. Elephant means, which kind of elephant? Airavata. Airavata was the symbol of Indian Constitution. You ask me one question, sir, what is the reason to choose Airavata as a symbol of Constitution? So what was the reason? You know, among the animals, the biggest animal is the elephant. Among the elephants, which one is holy elephant, sacred elephant? Airavata. Airavata was white elephant. It was the vehicle of Lord Indra. So, this Airavata was adopted as the symbol of elephant. Who has chosen this symbol? That was H.V. Kamath. H.V. Kamath. H.V. Kamath, one of the member of Constituent Assembly. So this H.V. Kamath chosen Airavata as the symbol of our Indian Constitution. Right? Okay. So this is the little bit introduction of our Constitution. But before this chapter, we have the historical background of Constitution. So we explained everything regarding the historical background of Indian Constitution. So what is that? What was the framework from 1773 Act 2 up to 1947, and also Constituent Assembly and Constitutional Assembly work, and what are the stages have done in the process of lawmaking system. Every concept was completed before this chapter. After that chapters, we are discussing salient features of Indian Constitution. This is one of the important chapters, special chapter and a separate chapter. So, because of Ambedkar, so that's why Ambedkar has the name Father of Indian Constitution. Father of Indian Constitution. So, he strived for the designing the Constitution, he strived for the framing the Constitution. So, finally, they submitted the Constitution to Constituent Assembly. The drafting committee submitted the Constitution to Constituent Assembly on 26th November 1949. On 26th November 1949, Constituent Assembly adopted the Constitution. You see, 26th November 1949, Constituent Assembly adopted the Constitution. Here, adopting concept. Here, Constitution was introduced. So, you ask me a question, the adoption of the Constitution was completed here. Why they have taken 2 months time to introduce the Constitution? So here total concept of Constitution framing was over. But 27th is the chance, other day we have the chance to introduce Constitution. But why they delayed 2 months? Why they took 2 months? Because one historical background was there. Behind of this date, one historical background was there. What is that? So, 1929, December 31st, 1929, December 31st, in Lahore Congress, 1929, December 31st, in Lahore Congress, they decided to celebrate Sampurna Swaraj Day on 31st December 29th. So, Lahore Congress, in Lahore Congress, they decided to celebrate Sampurna Swaraj, complete Independence Day, when on 26 January 1930. 26 January 1930, Lahore Congress decided to celebrate Sampurna Swaraj or complete independence on 26 January 1930. This is the Sampurna Swaraj Day. Because of that reason, we implemented introduced our constitution on 26 John 1950. This is a flashback. We should remember. Okay. So this is somewhat information or introduction to our Indian constitution. But before going to explain the salient features of Indian constitution, we have to discuss one concept. That concept is called sources of Indian constitution. Sources of Indian constitution. You see, Indian constitution is the lengthest or biggest constitution in the world. You know, just American constitution, Australian constitution, they will have 24, 25 articles like that. They have a small constitutions. But here, Indian constitution has the biggest, in the beginning it has 395 articles, 8 schedules, 22 parts in the beginning. So 395 articles, 8 schedules, 22 parts in the beginning. No other constitution, no other country's constitution has this much of quantity, this much of articles, schedules, etc. So Indian constitution became the lengthest constitution and biggest constitution in the world. So what was the reason to become like that? Because we referred 60 constitutions. We referred 60 constitutions and we have taken the sufficient subjects from their constitutions which are applicable to, which are good concepts to our India. So we have taken that concepts from 60 constitutions. So that's why Indian constitution became the biggest constitution. Right. See, one by one we have to discuss. So name of the country, just you write as a table, like table, name of the country, and subjects, taken subjects. So taken subjects, name of the country, taken subjects. So we can write like this. So everybody has to by heart these concepts, because at least we will get one question from this chart. We will get one question from this chart. So first of all, I want to write 1935 Act. 1935 Act. You know, 1935 Act, when Britishers are ruling our country. So British government introduced 1935 Indian Government Act. So from that act, our constitution makers have taken 50% of the subjects. 50% of the subject. For example, federal system, federal court, and public service commissions, and lists, central list, state list, like so, etc. Points are taken from 1935 Act. So from 1935 Act, we have taken 50% of the subjects. That's why this 1935 Act has the name mini constitution. It has the name mini constitution. Why? Because 50% of the subjects are taken from this 1935 Act. Okay? And after 1935 Act, the second country or second standard country, Britain or England? England. What are the subjects taken from England Constitution? So many subjects, but we should not, so we can't write all the subjects, but important concepts. What are the important concepts taken from Britain Constitution? What are the important points taken from Britain Constitution? 1. Parliamentary system. This is most important. Parliamentary system. You know, Britain Parliament, as the title, Mother of Parliaments. That's the first country in the world introduced to parliamentary system. So, we have taken parliamentary system from England Constitution. So, we have taken parliamentary system, cabinet system, rule of law, collective responsibility, responsible government, the election process of member of legislature, so etc. There are so many points, but some of important points from this England Constitution. Parliamentary system, cabinet, rule of law. They will ask this question generally, often we will get this question. Rule of law, collective responsibility, responsible government, election process of member of legislature, etc. All these subjects are taken from England Constitution. Right? Next. So, American Constitution, USA Constitution. From USA Constitution we have taken judiciary system, fundamental rights, judiciary system, fundamental rights, judicial review, preamble, vice president system, and president powers and election system, etc. Judiciary system, fundamental rights, judicial review, preamble, vice president system, president powers and election system, so etc. are taken from American Constitution. So, judiciary system, fundamental rights, you know, judicial review, one of the most important concepts. Judicial review is one of the most important concepts. So, this is judicial review protects the independence of the judiciary or courts. So, the independent status of judiciary has been securing or protecting by judicial review, especially in India. Our judiciary has been facing so many problems from the government. So many clashes are there between the government and Supreme Court. But whenever the problem arises between the government and the Supreme Court has been using judicial review and protecting himself is individuality because judicial review. This judicial review was taken from American Constitution, the most important concept. And you know, preamble, we have separate chapter. We have to explain preamble separately. So preamble is a great concept. Preamble, it is, according to Ambedkar, preamble is the soul of Indian Constitution. Without preamble, we can't expect the Indian Constitution. So, the basic concepts of our Indian Constitution were taken from American Constitution. Today you see, America has rigid constitution. They won't do amendments oftenly. They won't do amendments to the constitution oftenly. But we have a lot of amendments. Anyhow, so we have taken all these subjects from American Constitution or USA Constitution. Next.